Hello and welcome to a session with our TrainOpreneur as a global visibility program. And today we're going to be speaking about how to tell powerful stories to attract more customers. And today we have with the amazing Connie Benjamin, all the way from US. Welcome, Connie.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aziza. It is wonderful to be with you today.
Yes, it is. And I am extremely thrilled to have you as our Life Accelerator in our TrainOpreneur platform. And Connie is the #1 international best-selling author and in the podcast host of My Fire Within. This is like amazing name. I love that. This is a radio channel. You're doing that. And as well as 1 decade of experience in the transformation industry, and you have been conducting the influencer interviews to brilliantly tell stories to the world in the way that you have never imagined. So I love that conversation that we're going to have today with you to really bring out what's possible for people when they are telling their story. So Connie, tell us, what are the challenges that people usually face in your sessions with them when telling their story?
There's a few challenges that people face. And by the way, Aziza, I'm so passionate about this. And I'm a little obsessed with stories because I believe that we can transform the world through stories. We transform our beliefs through stories. Some of the challenges that entrepreneurs face, especially purpose-driven entrepreneurs, which I love working with purpose-driven entrepreneurs, because all purpose-driven entrepreneurs have earned their expertise, blood, sweat, and tears. They know what they're doing. They're passionate about something. So what tends to happen, though, in telling their story is oftentimes they get faced with imposter syndrome, which means they're really feeling insecure about, do I really have the credentials to tell this story? Am I really that big of a deal? And so usually they're an incredible expert at what they do. They rock it. They know their expertise inside and out. But talking about themselves can be challenging. And especially talking about some of the reasons that they're the only person in this entire world to do this work. They're not connected with that. They don't know the reasons why, or they're feeling insecure and they're not going to tell the reasons why. And that's what we found, is that often these amazing purpose-driven entrepreneurs, either insecurity comes up in telling the story and so they don't powerfully tell it, or they've got a part of their story that is hidden. It's hidden, Dr. Aziza. It's under the subconscious. They don't even know these aspects and these puzzle pieces to their story that's so powerful in connection and trust. They're not aware of it yet. And so they can't tell that aspect of the story as well.
Yes, and I am so thrilled at what you have been putting together, the kind of questions you ask as we are going through that process ourselves. It just is so amazing that you have gone in so deep into uncovering things that never, was in the conscious mind, as you are saying. So what are the top 3 things you feel we can work on towards increasing, when telling our stories?
I love it. Okay, so I do have telling your hidden story kind of outline that I use. And by the way, when I'm working with somebody, I'm really digging deep to get the story. And I love that you talk about that. We're going through that process now. And I remember supporting you in the beginning process of telling your story. And your story is so amazing. It is so good. So a couple of things you can do right now to begin telling your story and really digging into it is, one, recognize that you have lived through something incredible and you have a gift to share that in a way that nobody else can. In fact, what we find is that if you can go to the pain that you went through and the lesson that you learned and really tap into that, why you do what you do. I mean, a lot of people talk about when your pain became your purpose, when your mess became your message. There's many people that talk about that. But really have an awareness that that's part of what makes you an expert. You're an expert because you've been there, you've done that, you know what it's like, you've been through the trenches, you're a purpose-driven entrepreneur that's been through that experience and is helping people up over the other side. So allow yourself to really step into that and kind of push that imposter syndrome away, because here's what I know, the world needs your story. So that's step 1. Okay, makes sense so far, right?
That's right.
Okay, so step 2 is recognizing a time in your life when you took a stand for something. So one thing that I love in doing in the Discover Your Hidden Story session, when I'm working with somebody, whether it's that free session, the Discover Your Hidden Story session, or I'm digging deep into hours of their story and doing an influencer interview, I'm looking for what is the value that happened in your life that you took a stand for. So for example, many people, it might be the desire for everyone to feel loved, or for them to feel loved, or for people to do what they say, or to have loyalty, whatever it is. If you look back in your past, you'll find an early memory of when you first took a stand for a value. Oftentimes, I'll give you a quick example. I remember I was talking to this amazing gentleman, and he had been doing personal speaking and training for decades. He'd been working with some of the biggest speakers in the industry. And as we were doing the Discover Your Hidden Story session, he said, Connie, I don't know if you're going to find anything. Man, I've been speaking for a long time. I said, just stay with me. We're going to do this. And so we went through his story. And when we dug back to the value that he took a stand for, he remembered being this sweet little boy. And his dad his dad wasn't around. His mom actually wasn't around because she needed to make money to send to the family. And he remembers not having money, not having parents to support him. He really was raising himself. He had some brothers that were kind of helping take care of him, but he was just a little boy raising himself. And his brother had this red fire truck. And his brother, when he would leave to go play with his friends, his brother, because he didn't want to hang out with his little brother, would put that red fire truck on top of the door, right on top of the door. And as much as he tried to grab a chair and a stool and anything, he couldn't reach that red fire truck. And for him, when we dug through his story, he realized that it was that moment when he couldn't reach that red fire truck that he decided that he would change his stars, he would change his life and find financial abundance and help other people to do it. And so it was really in understanding when was the time in his life he took a stand for a value, and that was it for him. So just kind of dig back in your story. It's tricky on your own, but sometimes if you journal it, you can find that moment. So that's number 2. Making sense so far?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then the third thing is telling that story. So finding the specific story. So what often happens with purpose-driven entrepreneurs is we get really excited. And so we start using generalizations. We start talking about other people, when you experience, or we start using generalized ideas. I took a stand for people feeling loved, but we don't go to the story. And there's power in the story. When I was telling you that example of that little boy in the red fire truck, you could see it. You could see the red fire truck. You could see him standing there and imagining him trying to get that drive and power that happened through that story. And so to really go into the details of the story is really powerful as well. And then I know you asked me for 3, but Aziza, can I share one more, just a final
bonus? Yes, bonus for everyone. Yes.
Okay, you know me, you know my passion for stories. So I'm like, we're going into the bonus. Okay, so to tie it back to your mission. So to tie that story back to your mission, and that's why I'm on a mission to help and who you're there to help. So for example, for the man that he'd been doing speaking and training for a really long time, found the story of when he was that boy that wanted that red fire truck. He took the stand for the value of creating financial wellness for his family. And that's why he's on a mission to help people feel loved and for them to be able to have the financial abundance to be with their family. So you tie it full circle back to your mission.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm so excited that this is going to be made available. Anybody who's watching this can get into a strategy call, or rather a discovery call with you. And that's going to be a really fun journey. And when you are clicking on the link, you can actually get to see it, and you can be part of this call with Connie at free of cost. That's right. So thank you so much, Connie, for your wonderful sharing. And we look forward to having more of you together, play with you, and really add value to more trainers, coaches, mentors, and business leaders find their powerful stories, and so that they can reach out to more customers and greater business. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aziza. It has been an honor to be with you today.